Hello, you're in the kitchen with Donna today, and today we're going to make zucchini boats. You know all those zucchinis you're getting out of the garden or friends are giving you at about this time of the year? Well, this is a great recipe to use those up. First of all, I'm going to take these zucchini and I'm going to go ahead and put them in the colander and get them washed up. Now I've got 5 zucchini here, so this will equal to 10 boats because we're going to cut each one of these in half. And you can see the size of them. They're pretty young. They're not overgrown. Of course, you can use overgrown ones, but the bigger your zucchini, the bigger your boat. Your little boat you're going to make out of them. So you want to keep them a good, reasonable size for your family to eat. We're going to wash these up. Then we're going to dry them off. We're going to dry these off. Now that we got our zucchini dry, I'll show you what to do next. But let me give you a rundown of what you'll need to make these boats. You're going to need a pan to put them in. Set your oven at 350 degrees. You're going to need a mixing bowl. Some vegetables. They can be the vegetables of your choice. Any vegetable that you like, anything that you have left over in your refrigerator. Doesn't have to be anything special. It's a good way to use up your leftovers, but as you experiment, you'll find the vegetables that you like best. This is some cabbage and onions and sausage that we had one day for dinner, so I'm going to use these up and use them in this zucchini boat recipe. And then this is about a cup of cheese. I've got this Jiffy corn mix. Now, if you don't want to use this, you feel free to make up your own recipe of cornbread. Donald and I, 40 years ago when we got married, I used to buy this Jiffy cornbread mix because I worked and it was something I could make easily. But just read the ingredients on the box, and if it's not something that you want to eat, just feel free to make your own cornbread recipe. But this makes, this has kind of got a sweet flavor to it, so it makes a good little binder to hold all of your ingredients together when you put them in your boat. Now, this calls for milk here on the side. It calls for a 1/3 cup of milk, and I don't have milk today. So my 1/3 cup of liquid that I'm going to mix with that Jiffy is going to be the liquid out of these vegetables. I've got 2 eggs. I may add 2 more eggs. My eggs are really small, and the mix here calls for 1 egg. And I may put a few eggs to go so that it'll hold all this together. I've got some turkey from the refrigerator that I'm going to use up today. And so I'm going to chop up a little bit of that and add it in. That'll be the main meat, even though there's a little bit of sausage in my vegetables. This will be the main meat in my meal. And of course I got my zucchini boats here that are ready to be sliced or chopped in half. Now I've already done one. You can see I've kind of scooped out the center of that zucchini. I've got a spoon here because most of us have spoons, but if you have special tools for scooping out vegetables, feel free to use those. I'm going to mix those right in here with the vegetables that I'm going to put in the center. You just dig out the center of your boats and lay them in your pan. Now that you have all your zucchinis cut up and you've got your center dug out and put into your vegetable bowl, you just take that oil of your choice. I'm using avocado, and just sprinkle a little bit of that on each boat, or each half a zucchini that's scooped out. These will be cooked at about 350 degrees, so you want an oil that'll hold up to that temperature. I just brush it on a little bit. So that it's not puddled up all in one place. I'm going to put a little salt on these. And then we're going to put these in the oven for about 15 minutes. It may take a little bit longer in your oven depending on the size of your zucchini. So you want to keep that in mind. If your zucchini is a lot bigger, then you might have to leave it on there for about 20 minutes. So we'll set our timer for about 15 minutes. And then we'll check those in just a minute. And in the meantime, we'll go ahead and make up our filling. Now this is the, okay, so you see I have the zucchini middle that we scooped out of those young zucchinis. I'm just going to chop these up right in with my vegetables. And you're using whatever vegetables you have. You know, you can even just open a can of veg oil that's got carrots, potatoes, celery. All that stuff is delicious mixed in these. So just using whatever vegetables you have, whatever vegetables that you like and want to mix in here, that's what we'll be doing today. I'm just cutting these up in kind of small pieces so when we fill our zucchini boat centers that they'll fit in there. You can add whatever spices you want to add. I'm going to use about a teaspoon of garlic to season mine. And if you have fresh grown garlic that you've grown at home, well, all the better. Now I'm going to take this Jiffy mix and go ahead and mix it up. I do have 2 more eggs in here in mine. I wanted to add a few more eggs. So add at least 1 egg, but as many eggs as you would like. I like to add a few more eggs because it helps hold all that vegetables and stuff in that little boat when you're cooking it. So we're just going to stir this up. I'm going to add the 1/3 cup of vegetable liquid. It calls for milk in that recipe, but I'll be using the liquid out of the vegetables. I'm going to add this little pack of Jiffy corn muffin mix. Now I've got to chop my little bit of meat that I got here that I wanted to add in. Now I'm going to reserve the best of this meat for a sandwich for later. And I'm just going to use the odd and end bits here that might not be so great on a sandwich to put in the middle of my zucchini boat. This dish is just excellent to use up your zucchini. You know, if you plant, you're a gardener, or you know somebody that is, you know, zucchini is just prolific. You have a whole lot of that with just a few plants. So this is just a good way to use up your zucchini to get vegetables into your diet for you and your family, and to use up leftovers. It's an economical dish. And even if you don't grow your own zucchini, they're easily found at the grocery store at this time of the year. Now I'm just going to take that chopped up chicken, and I'm going to go ahead and add it to my Jiffy Mix recipe that I've mixed up here. And because my zucchini are so small, I think I'm only going to be able to use about half of this mix, this vegetable mix, but that's okay because I have a lot more zucchini I can use these on in the next few days. So I'm going to use about half of that and mix it well into this that Jiffy cornbread mix. I'm going to add just a little bit of salt in that while I mix it up. A little bit of pepper. Of course, you do that to your taste. Now our time is up here on our zucchini. They're done. So we can go ahead and get them out at this stage. Sorry, I always run my pans into the top of the stove. Now we're going to take our filling, and we're going to fill up our little boats. And it's okay if they go over a little bit. They're going to swell up a little bit when this cooks. Go over here and fill these few up. You can see I'm not being overly careful with these. I'm trying to use up all this filling. Now we're going to put this in here on about the same amount of time that it says to make those, that cornbread. So we'll just be sticking this back in the oven here. I gotta watch my microphone cord or I'll be putting it in the oven. They're in the oven and we're going to cook them for about, I'm going to say about 20 minutes. Well, they might need a little bit of time, but after this 20 minutes, we'll check them and see if they're good to go. And then we're going to add our cheese on top. We reserved our cheese so it can go on the top. Okay, when the time's up, you want to get out your zucchini, both. I'm going to take a spatula. They stuck together a little bit. But you can see they're not quite done yet. We're going to put the cheese on them and put them back in for about 10 or 15 more minutes. You can use whatever kind of cheese you like. Mozzarella is good on them too. Especially if you use any kind of tomatoes or green peppers as your vegetables. Now you would leave them in there according to the size of your zucchini. If your zucchini were bigger, you would leave them in longer. And we're just going to put them back in the oven long enough for the cheese to melt. Well, there you go. It's an easy and nutritious meal. I'm going to plate us up one. And I don't having these for dinner today. Thank you for joining me today. And like always, until next time.